Hey guys, TommyBryson here, and I have anger issues. And I didn't know this until I was literally forced into therapy. I was slamming things around, I was even throwing people's property. And you might be wondering, why am I making this video? It has nothing to do with money and finance and personal growth. The answer is, if you can't manage your emotions, it can ruin your life and also ruin you financially. And I know that 85% of the people that watch my content are men. So boys, this is very important, because when you manage your emotions and you know how to control yourself, you're going to do a lot better in life. And that's what I'm learning, and that's what I want to pass on to you guys in this video. And if you ever feel like someone can just push your buttons, say the right thing to get you angry, or you get upset sometimes and what comes out of your mouth is not really what you want to say, the answer is this video is going to help you out a ton. These are the 7 things I've done to gain control over my anger. And I say control, but everyone is just a work in progress. Let's get started. Number 1, be assertive, not aggressive. Just because you want to control your emotions doesn't mean all of a sudden you're going to be a pushover. Assertive people are people that are direct, don't beat around the bush, and tell you exactly what they want. Aggressive people tend to be manipulative and try to get you to do what they want you to do in a manipulative way. So whenever you tell them no or you shut them down, they tell you, you never do this. You're not a good person. Why can't you do this, okay? They try to find a bunch of reasons just to manipulate you into getting what they want from you. So what is my approach whenever I want to have someone know something or want to communicate my feelings to them? So that's if, for example, I have a problem with you because you offended me the last time we spoke. Well, how do I communicate this without being manipulative or being aggressive? Well, I want to think about first what I want you to know and how I want this conversation to end. So here's an example. Hey, I want to talk to you about what you said last week when you called me stupid. And I want us to end this conversation knowing that that can't happen anymore and we can actually be on a better foot, on a better standing. That is assertive. That is me communicating exactly what I want and the hope to have a better relationship at the end of this conversation. Now, what happens if the person says no? Well, it can be maybe they just don't want to have the conversation right now, and you have to respect that. Or 2, maybe this person doesn't deserve the position that you're putting them into. If someone is not willing to have a conversation with you, knowing that you need to have this conversation, the answer is let them be, okay? You can't control that. Don't try to force it on them. Just let it be. But no, maybe they're just not the right person in that way. Number 2 is detach yourself from people's comments and ideas about you. Another way to say this is just don't take things personal. It's hard not to take things personal when people are personally attacking you, your character, and who you are. I've been there. I've gone through that. And the only thing I ever want to do in those situations is to defend myself and to try to explain to those people that, hey, it's not who I am. I want you to know who I am. Turns out when someone is disrespecting you and is saying mean things to you, that's not really what you want to do. Here's the approach I've learned. Number 1 is pause. And when someone offends you, just pause. Let their words sit and let them have to hear it back. So second is ask them to repeat what they just said to you. Excuse me? Did he just call me stupid? And they have to either validate that they did do that or they kind of take that back. And then lastly, the third thing I do is remember what this person thinks about you is not who you are. The things you do don't even make you who you are. Just because you did something stupid doesn't mean you're stupid. And it doesn't mean it's okay for somebody else to call you stupid. Later on in the video, I'll tell you exactly how to respond to disrespect. But as far as this is just don't take things personal. Don't think that what they're saying is true about your character, but listen actively in hopes to understand what the issue is and to try to fix it if it's possible. Number 3, recognize when you're getting angry. Anger is not a bad thing. Anger can lead you to change. It can show you that something is wrong in a relationship or with a friendship or whatever. Or third, it can even help you protect yourself when you're in a bad situation, if you know what I mean. But you don't really want to have a conversation when you're angry. So you want to recognize when you're getting angry, and you want to have an approach to how to conduct yourself in a way. So here's how I know when I'm getting angry. One, I get defensive. Two, I stop listening. I only listen to respond in a way. I start to get tense, and my breath becomes very shallow. All those things let me know, I'm getting angry. So what do? I say, hey, I need a break from this conversation. I'm getting angry. I need to go and calm down. Does that make you weak? The answer is no. And you don't even have to tell them you're getting angry. You can just say, hey, I need a break. It's not a good time to have this conversation. And you just walk away, and you take some time to kind of gather your thoughts on what you want to say until you're done relaxing. Two is, remember, no one can force you to have a conversation that you don't want to have or you are not ready to have. The only people that try to force conversation on you are people that don't know their boundaries. Or if you are in a legal problem, then you obviously need to have the conversation even if you don't want to. But for the most part, you always have the option to take a break, to leave, and to come back when you're ready and composed to have the conversation. So recognize when you're getting angry. Number 4, listen to understand, not to respond. Have you ever had a conversation with someone when you've been expressing yourself and the only thing you get back is, yeah, but let me tell you what I want to say? It doesn't feel good. And I've been the person that's done that also. I've listened to people not to understand what they're saying, but just to respond and to get my point across. So what I've learned is that's not the best thing to do. You have to listen to understand the person. So what does active listening look like? Well, here's my approach. It has a lot of ahams. I hear you. It also, once the person is done talking, you kind of summarize what that person said so they know that you actually have been listening. But most importantly, so you know that you understand what this person has been saying. Because once you summarize what they said, their main points, they'll tell you, yeah, that's right. That's exactly what I want to say. Or they'll tell you, no, that's actually not what I want to say. Here's what I want to say. And you also want to ask them, is that right? Am I hearing you clearly? And second is agree with the person. This was the most difficult thing for me because whenever I heard the word agree, to me, it meant that this person is right. That's what I'm communicating, and that I am wrong. So now I'm guilty and they are the right person. No, that's not what it means. It means that if you're telling me that I hurt your feelings, that what I did was bad, by me agreeing and saying, I agree, it sounds like I really hurt your feelings and you kind of feel hurt and all this. I'm not saying what I did is actually a bad thing. What I'm saying is I understand where you're coming from. And then I can kind of go ahead and explain myself. Most of the time, people just want to feel like you've heard them, like you've listened, like you've understood them. And then you can kind of work out the problem. But it's not a who is right and who is wrong situation. You can actively listen and you can agree to something without taking culpability, meaning you're wrong, okay? And sometimes you are wrong. And sometimes you do need to admit, hey, I'm wrong. I'm sorry about that. And you move on, okay? But be careful. Some people that are manipulative will try to take you admitting to being wrong and now try to basically impose things on you. Again, no one can impose things on you. Only you can control yourself for the most part. Number 5, give people a manual, not a remote control to push your buttons. For me personally, the people that can push my buttons the most are the people that are closest to me. And people that are close to you, well, they have an advantage. They know exactly what to say to push your buttons. Specifically, for example, like your mom maybe, or your significant other, or maybe your sister or your brother or whatever. They know that if they call you stupid, you're going to lose it and you're going to get all riled up. They know that if they bring something back from the past, you're going to lose it and you're going to get all riled up. So instead of giving them a remote control to push your buttons, here is my approach and what I try to do now. One, I tell them if they're being offensive or trying to say mean things to me. I say, one, that's below my standard for a reply. I just don't reply to things like that. Or two, if you're going to be insulting me and saying things like that, well, I'm not going to respond and I'm going to walk away from this conversation. And actually do it if they keep pushing you, okay? So walk away and just don't have it. And third is know this, okay? It's okay not to have the last word in a conversation. The person that usually speaks last is the person that either is apologizing or the person that is offending the other person and saying the last final hurtful words to kind of like nail that nail on the coffin. Okay, so you saying I'm not gonna have that conversation and walking away and that person keeps screaming, don't think you need to have one final defense. No, it's okay to just walk away. And maybe later that person will come back and apologize. Receive them. It's okay, they make mistakes. Receive them, but let them know that it's not how you communicate. You have a manual, you give it to them, and if they can't abide by it, then you just don't have the conversation. Number 6 is don't throw back the garbage or the hurtful words for the most part. The last argument I had with some people, it kind of felt like a food fight, where they threw something at me. I tried to justify myself and I threw something back at them and this and that, and it just looks terrible. It is not a good conversation to have, and you're actually not making any progress at all. So what do you do when you're dealing with somebody difficult that's accusing you or saying hurtful things or calling you names or whatever? The answer is my approach is silence. Someone call you stupid, be quiet. Don't say a word. And have them sit with what they just said. Because the minute you lash back, well, now they're saying, well, you're also doing it, so I can keep doing it, and we're going back and back and back and back. No, you call me stupid, you just sit there. And then you ask them this: can you repeat yourself? Ask them to repeat the offense. Third, you ask them if they meant for it to be hurtful or to sound disrespectful. You give them the chance, you give them the grace to take those things back. But it's a much better way, and that's what I've learned. Because if someone calls me stupid and I call them stupid back, well, now we're just two idiots calling each other stupid. But if they call you stupid and now you sit silent, you ask them to repeat themselves and they say, yeah, I called you stupid. And then you say, hey, did you mean for that to be hurtful or disrespectful? And they say, yeah, I really meant that to be hurtful, to hurt you. Most people aren't going to do that, okay? But if they do that, it kind of tells you the type of person you're dealing with, and then after that, then you have to consider what your approach is going to be. Number 7, and the most important one, is breathe. I was a big fan of the UFC. I loved it. And one of my favorite fighters was Israel Adesanya. I stopped watching the UFC because I just couldn't take it watching people beat each other up. I didn't like it anymore. But for the most part, he said the most important thing is just controlling your breathing. Notice how fighters, they don't really lose control. They don't start throwing crazy punches. The people that do that, they tend to lose for the most part. But controlling your breathing is so important because whenever I was getting angry, I would stop breathing. My muscles would tense up. And all of a sudden, I was entering a flight or fight state of mind, or fight or flight state of mind. Yeah, that. So here's my approach. One is have several breathing techniques. And here are the 3 that I basically use. One is this, okay? Breathe deep through your nose and then take a second deep breath through your nose. So it looks like this, okay? And that kind of just relaxes you and you take in a lot of air. Second is take on a deep breath as much as you possibly can, okay? And just breathe in. And if you still can't calm down throughout the conversation, then just say, hey, I need some time. It's not a good time to have this conversation. And then just go and be by yourself and just breathe and breathe and breathe. And until you're not fully calmed down and relaxed and that anger has basically like reached its top and then gone back, then you just don't have the conversation until then, okay? That's the idea. And remember, anger does not last forever. That's why when people get angry, usually they end up apologizing and being very calm. It won't last forever. So breathing and breathing and breathing is going to help you control yourself. Now, I don't just want to end this video with these 7 steps. I also want to give you guys the most important thing that I have right now, which is resources. I obviously am not a therapist, I'm not an expert communicationist, but there are a lot of good teachers out there. And one of the best teachers on the topic is Jefferson Fisher, which have helped me out a ton. He's a lawyer and an expert at communicating. He also has a book and I read it. It's great. Also, Christian Conte has a YouTube channel that talks a lot about anger. Third, I also read Anger Management for Men. It's an amazing book. And it's not just a book you read, but you also have a ton of exercises where you write, and it's very helpful. Fourth, a therapist. I have a therapist, but I remain having an independent relationship with my therapist, meaning I don't let my therapist impose on me their values and their ideas. I've also learned on my own. I bring it to them and we kind of help each other practice what I'm learning or whatever. But don't create a dependent relationship with any therapist because it will mold you into being more of who they are. Not on purpose, not for some bad reason, but it's just what people do. People tend to mold people to be more like them. And then lastly, one of the biggest lessons I've learned along the way has been you can't control everything. And sometimes, even when you know what's the right decision to make based on your experience, based on proof, based on evidence, and if someone disagrees, you have to let people learn, live, and make their own mistakes. It's okay. Guys, do me one last favor if you made it all the way to the end of this video, and it's to like this video and to share it because there are so many men out there that need to know this to help themselves out and to just have control over their emotions, to be more powerful for the most and be better men overall. And if you're a lady and you're watching this video, well, thank you. Although this video is directly for men, but thank you. And it's also a topic that a lot of women can be very angry. So if it's been helpful, leave a like and share this video. I appreciate you guys a ton. Thanks for watching and peace.